Hi, Ronnie Lowe Life Coach here. Ronnie Lowe Life Coach, short for Ronnie Loiza, and I'm a certified professional life coach. I specialize in holistic mind and body and spirit, holistic leveling up life coaching. Let me ask you, when people talk about life purpose, what do you think it is? What do you think your purpose in life is? Not just raising your kids, which is huge. It's the most important thing we can do on this planet Earth, but not exactly what you're doing and the cards that have been dealt to you and the choices you've made. So, what you're doing as far as your career, your work, your vocation, your kids, your family, yourself, your life, what is your purpose here on earth? I spoke a little bit about misconceptions yesterday. I'm going to get a little bit more in depth today, but mostly today, I'd like to speak to you about your constant life purpose, your constant purpose. Because when you look at things, and we can do full studies on it, and I have, but and we're always growing and learning and reading and talking about destiny and purpose. So really, these are just principles that I'm touching on for the basic shooting forward and streamlining and moving ahead and progressing and using your purpose that we do in coaching. Because coaching is not therapy, philosophizing, put that in there. Coaching really is taking what you are and where you are and getting you where you want to be, your vision. More than your goals, your vision. What do you envision? So we're propelling forward and hitting some principles today, things that I do work with my clients on. Have the transformation I see, I was going to say have some breakthroughs, but the transformation I see, not that clients change who they are, the transformation into what they truly are, the best of themselves, constantly getting better. So not really improving, although it is, but uncovering the best parts and using them and living them and feeling them and seeing them and revealing them and accepting them. And I say accepting because I find that most people come to me ready to attain what they want, but they find out they haven't really fully accepted their strengths and rethought their what they consider weaknesses and change them or just accept them and realize they're not weaknesses really. So anyway, that's what I mean by transformation is the realizations, self-realizations, and the perceptions that change. And perception is everything. How your thought changes, how you perceive things is amazing. So first, today, we'll differentiate your constant purpose from goals, vision, what you envision for the rest of your life or for the next year or 2 years, and your mission. Your mission is like, this has become my mission in life. I joke around about that, about like, this has just become a mission. When I can't get something, when I can't accomplish something, when I can't get something to work or troubleshoot or to get something done, that becomes my mission. But really, your mission is what you set out to do and accomplish in achievement with milestones and markers and results. That's different from your goal. Your goal is to achieve that mission. That's why companies have mission statements. That's why my clients do mission statements, personal mission statements. What is their mission? And then we set goals. Okay, so today we'll differentiate your constant life purpose from your mission, your vision, which is farther out there, and your goals. I'll explain how to find your purpose, how to start uncapping that, how to start tapping into it or uncovering it, how you find it, you feel it through what I call my perceivable principle. My perceivable principle, I'll explain that. It's that common thread throughout your life. And when you start looking at that thread, it's like, oh, and only you know what that common thread is. But I, as a coach, help you do a lot of thought work and reflective thinking and good questioning. You start seeing the common thread. Third, I'll give you 3 examples of people of how they figured out and they knew, or they already knew, one of them already knew how they figured out how they knew their purpose and how it's helped those clients and me. I'll share that tomorrow. Level up and get ahead in their careers. Now, you can put your purpose in life in every aspect of your life. every single one. But for today, we'll mostly focus on career. Okay, I'll give you one example of a lady who put her purpose into her health, and actually her health into her purpose, the other way around, so she could fulfill her purpose. Okay, and it applies, like I said, in all areas of her life, but we're going to focus on career. First, differentiate the purpose from the other things. Your purpose is a constant. It's, and I'll explain that in a second, but goals are not your purpose. Even your vision for yourself or your life can and usually does change. And you know this. Vision is how you see yourself or how you imagine your life to be, your circumstances, your situation, your physical ambiance, your financial situation, your love situation, your relationships, how you envision your life to be, your career. When you close your eyes and you vision yourself and people imagine, okay, what am I doing right now? What am I wearing? What am I going to be doing? What is it that fulfills you? You feel that purpose within that vision, that imagination. Or not. Maybe it's just part of your vision is I want to travel. I want to have a home in Costa Rica or whatever. And that those are visions. Okay. So your vision is how you see and imagine yourself at work or your business for today. How do you imagine yourself at your own company, at your own small business, at your own big business, at your own corporation where you're mid-level management and you want to get ahead to senior level, or maybe not. Maybe you want to make a lateral move. You just want to be the best at what you do. How do you envision yourself? And I heard something really interesting this week. Isa, and I forgot her last name. I'll get it for you. I think it's Isa Watson. But anyway, she was talking about how it really resonated with me that the most important decisions about your career, if you're not the boss, and even then, they're chairman of the boards and clients and other people that you depend on to help you run your company. But the most important decisions about your career are made when you're not there. Let's say you're not the boss. It's what's made behind that office door or that boardroom, and you're not even there. So how do you envision yourself to be positioned so that people see what you're contributing, how they can take advantage of you in a good way, really use your strengths, and what they say about you, what somebody says to advocate for you, even when you don't ask, and tells your boss and tells the peers and tells the board members and tells, everybody. Or if you're the boss, what other people, your reputation. Those are the most, that decides what's going on with your work and business. So if you're living your purpose with integrity, and you know your own core values, but if you're living your purpose, and I doubt that most people that are watching this have a life purpose of a life in crime, but even then they're good criminals. The Godfather, I'm just kidding. No, but we'll go back to there. But you know your purpose, and if you're living it, everything you do, all your decisions, if your purpose is your touchstone and you always implement your core values in your purpose, then people see that because it's there. It's obvious. It's blatant. They can't prove otherwise. They can lie, but your reputation reflects what you show. And if you're only showing the truth and your purpose, your core values, people see that. There's no disputing it. So what they say behind closed doors or in other companies or other businesses deciding to work with you or not, or to refer you or say, oh, you know, so-and-so and talk about you, even when you don't ask for referral, even when you don't know they're talking about you or what they know about you, that is key. So when you live your life purpose, there's a butterfly effect. I hope I pronounced that right. Butterfly. Okay. So your vision is how you see yourself, or your business or your career, your job. Your mission is your values and objectives. What are your objectives? If you're your own company, become the chief executive officer, the chief information officer for your company, which is you. You become your chief financial officer, your chief communications officer, your chief fun officer. There's so many chiefs now. You're the C-suite of your life. And I'm sure you've heard that before. I thought I was so novel and so original when I made that up. And then when I saw it otherwise, in other places, it's like, I just thought of a pink elephant with white polka dots. And then you see pink elephants with white polka dots everywhere. Maybe not outside, but you start seeing them in social media. So your mission is your values and your objectives come together in how to act, as in how you comport yourself or your company and behave and treat your customers, and how you behave and treat your clients, your collaborators, your colleagues, your staff, your peer, and the world. It can definitely be the world. How does your company, how does your work affect the world? Not in a woo-woo philosophical way, which is real and tangible as well, but how do you, if you start looking at the butterfly effect of your work, I bet you can find it. 6 degrees of separation, I contend there are 20 degrees of separation in what we do in our work. I have found out how I have affected people 20 years ago, and it amazes me. So your mission, your values, your objectives, how you comport yourself, how you act, what you do, how you execute that mission to get those objectives. And your objective can be is how you act, how it affects the world, how to serve is part of your mission, how to achieve giving your product or service. Your mission is how your objectives and how your objectives are met. It is not your goals. Okay. Apple didn't have a main goal. It had a mission, a true mission. Microsoft had a true mission. NASA has a true mission, not a goal just to get one rocket into space, a mission, space exploration and further advancement of space science. Okay. So a mission is not to make $2 million this year. That's a goal. Put it on your vision board. Again, that's a goal. Vision is seeing how your business or your place in your career will be. Your placement. Your goals are short-term. There are long-term goals, but they're still pretty finite. You can make new goals on top of that, but goals are finite. They're milestones, they're markers, markers because you see the marker, okay, we've reached this, or the milestones, or the little results like, okay, we're on our way there, that fulfill that vision. And to achieve your goals via your mission. So when they're all your mission of how you deliver your product or service and your placement, your vision is your purpose. So your mission is how you achieve your objectives, how you deliver that product and service and philosophy, your longer vision and your goals. When they're all tethered to your purpose, wow. When your purpose is your touchstone for all of them, the fun parts of your life that have nothing to do with work and your career, you are living that purpose. You are the embodiment of that. And you can't go wrong. Things will come up. There will be barriers. There will be bumps. There are those uncontrollable challenges, unforeseen challenges, because this is life and you can't control the world and what others do. But your purpose will take you over those bumps. It will take you around them. It will take you through them, or you'll just go, I'll take another direction. But you're still living your purpose when they're all tethered together. And there are examples of going along with the flow or with other people's decisions, even though that's not how you would have done it. So their goals are different than yours, and it's not tethered to your purpose. That's when the problems start. Not your core values, your purpose. Okay, again, you're saying, okay, so what is my purpose in life? Okay, so yesterday I went through a few misconceptions. In and of themselves, separate your situations, things that fulfill you from your purpose. In and of themselves, your job is not your purpose. It can be, but just by itself, let's say you don't have that job tomorrow, that's not your purpose in life. Your purpose, while fulfilling and could be the most important thing in your life, is how to raise your kids or just to raise them. It's also, let's say you didn't have kids, what would your purpose be? There is a purpose of what fulfills you. So is it that love? Is it that when you see someone just served? Is it when you connect with someone? Is it to make a good impact on somebody? Is it to leave a legacy, have them leave a legacy? Whatever that purpose is, you put into raising your kids. What about that? The raising your kids is fulfilling. It's not just the love, that's a given. If you love your kids, that's a given, because there are many parents that don't have a chance to raise their kids, but that love is still there. So what's the purpose? Okay. So you put your purpose in life, whatever it is that you want to do and that fulfills you, that you put into raising your kids, or in how you love your kids, your mission on raising your kids, how you raise them, how you serve them. Okay. How you form them, see? Or you can put your purpose into your relationship, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your partner. You can put your purpose in life, how you impact the world. Okay, how do I impact the world through my relationship? How do I impact this person? How do I support them? So I'm impacting the world. How do I how do I partner with them? So I'm truly their support. I'm truly their partner. I'm truly their team member. Maybe I'm partners with them in business. Maybe I'm just partner with them in life. And I don't mean just like, just partners with them, but you're not in business with them. So you start putting your purpose, whatever that is. Okay. Let's say it's your purpose is this music. When I compose music, I feel this excitement, and we'll get into the perception, the perceivable principle, sorry. Because perceivable comes from perception. When you feel that, that physical thing, that energy, that thrill. And again, yesterday, we'll get into, okay, what if your purpose goes into a mission? But and it may not seem thrilling, but when you feel that thrill, even if it's a serious subject, and you know, yes, this is my purpose in life, and you start seeing the common thread of when you have always felt that in different ways, in different arenas, in different areas of your life, at different jobs, at different times of your life when you were a student, at different times in your life when you were a kid. When you feel that feeling, that's your purpose. So you can put that into your music. When you have that feeling when you're composing music, it's like, yes. Okay, so your purpose can be your music. You're creating it or you playing it. Absolutely. It can be your art, which is your vocation, and then your job is your purpose to act. What if you didn't act anymore? You still have a purpose in life. See what I'm saying? So if right now your mission, how to achieve that objective of that sense of fulfillment is through acting, great. But then you see that evolves. Other people quit acting and do something else that totally fulfills them, but they're doing the same thing that fulfills them, that gives them that feeling, that common thread. What did I get out of that acting? And whatever that actor got out of that acting, because it's unique for each one, whatever they got out of that, they can get in another career, vocation. They do. Everything from getting into sales to into business, into running an enterprise. Mike Nesmith, he was a monkey. Remember him in the Monkees? Loved producing. But when he talked about, he he connected to what he loved about getting into music in the first place, was that sense of getting it out there to people, entertainment, and the business aspect of it, of getting it out there, delivering it, making people happy through the music. But what really fulfilled him, I read this in an article years ago. It's funny, I'm coming up with it now, but I didn't even plan on speaking about him. What he really loved about when he got into producing and becoming the business aspects, not like, well, I'll fall back into this. He loved figuring it out, how to get that form of art, whatever he was producing at the time, out to the world, not just to make sales, but to help other artists fulfill their purpose or fulfill their jobs or vocations or their dreams. And he loved strategizing. When when he came up with concepts of strategizing and implementing, he felt that fulfillment, which he felt as a monkey. So he was more like the boss of the four. And they always did think he was more like always thinking the business side, not because ding, ding, he was thinking money. I read this in an article a long time ago. It's he loved to see how to get the word out. And make money from it. So anyway, I digress. Let's say actors get into directing. A lot of them do. And it was Laura Linney was saying she never thought she could direct. And when they kept coaxing her for Ozark to direct, I've never directed. And it can't just be like, oh, well, if you're an actor, you can direct. She loved it. Everything that she had put into her art in acting, she started putting in her directing, but in a different way, a totally different way, disconnecting herself, but feeling that same thing of storytelling and getting those characters across and through the viewer. So anyway, I'm getting really deep into it, but people, you evolve. You absolutely can't, your purpose can evolve. And I'm going to give you some examples today. So that perceivable principles behind all that, the activities that fills you up physically and emotionally. So let's go back to, what if your mission is like Martin Luther King or JFK or Ronald Reagan, or you pick somebody, Winston Churchill, or right now Joe Biden, or whoever it is, a commander, a general. Okay. If you're a leader, if you're leading a university, a company, whatever that mission is, it can be really serious. So let's just go back to Martin Luther King. I don't think he got that happy, happy, joy, joy thrill from being a leader in civil rights. But then again, he did, but not the happy, oh, wow, this is so much fun feeling, but more of a thrill of seeing that people got it and more people were getting it. And the more his movement was going, the more forward and the more progress that was being made. And he was far from getting to where we still need to be in this country and around the world. But when he kept seeing progress, little by little progressions, if you read what he wrote, his writings and his speeches, he got a thrill in some sense, that thrill of, yes, this is what I mean, and I'm getting the message across, even in a serious subject. I mentioned Nelson Mandela. I'm sure he wasn't thrilled to be in prison, but I bet you the thrill, not when he came out, but the thrill of the progress he kept hearing about, and that it was continuing despite him being in prison and not being out there. His word was still getting out and his movement was still going. That kept him going. That's what was thrilling, the progress. Mother Teresa, I'm sure when she was feeding a sick, hungry person in her arms or just smiling in front of her, she didn't get a happy, happy, joy, joy thrill, but the thrill of when more money came in, when more people volunteered, when someone survived and came out of actual hunger. Not just relief, but yes, this is working and we need to do more. We need to give more love. We need to literally physically touch more people because she saw the outcome of it. That's what I mean. That sense of physical and emotional fulfillment. That is life purpose. It wasn't just her mission. Her purpose in life was to literally take people out of hunger and despair and save a life. Not just from dying, but save that life. She saw it as saving them physically to fulfill their spiritual life and to save their spiritual life as well. But she wasn't out there to save them or convert them in religion. She was out there to literally save their life. And I don't use the word literally much because it's overused. Okay, so I hope that I'm conveying a little bit of the difference between mission and goals and liking what you do and purpose and how you perceive it physically and emotionally. And when I work with my clients and they're being coached, their coaching is you working through, what am I thinking? What are my thoughts about that? What's my thought about this? Going through your thoughts and seeing how that makes you feel, your emotion. Because every thought leads to an emotion, even if it's a split-second thought, even if you didn't realize it was a thought, there's a thought, because that's how your brain works. Your thought is that communication, that wiring in your brain that leads you to act, react, how you behave, whether it's you're not even aware of it. That's what's happening. Even, when people say, oh, I drove home and I don't remember driving home because they were so into the podcast they were listening to or just kind of zoned out, they're still thinking, their computer's working. So their behavior is watching out, looking at the red lights. It seems automatic, but that's because it's so learned and programmed. But you're still thinking and there's a behavior. And if somebody all of a sudden slams the brakes and makes you slam, you have an emotion. So even things that are so mundane and ordinary, like brushing your teeth, may not have an emotion behind them until maybe your gum bleeds, or you did something. It's like, I should floss more often or whatever. It's still a behavior, and a behavior becomes something out of habit. But before then, there was an emotion. It's like, really start taking up a new workout routine. That there are emotions behind that. How you eat and when you eat, there are emotions behind that, as a lot of us know. Okay. So when I coach my clients, they work through their thoughts. What is my thought having me feel? The emotion. And then new perceptions, new possibilities, new plans of actions come to mind. And so when we start to really look at their life purpose, it starts to come together. It's like, yeah, they start going through when they got that perceivable principle, that perception. Let me, I took a few thoughts of what perceivable okay. What is perceivable? Your perception. Perceivable is that it's tangible. You can touch it, you can smell it, you can hear it. It's there. You can see it sometimes. Like the expression on your face, if you see yourself in the mirror when you're thinking about your purpose, if you're on camera. Recognizable. You recognize it physically and emotionally. It's discernible. It's corporeal. I love that word. I almost called my principle my corporeal principle because I just love that word. It's body. Body with emotion, which is holistic, mind and body, and spirit. So it's corporeal, it's fleshly, it's fleshy, it's bodily, it's somatic. I think you know what somatic is. So it's tenable, meaning achievable, reachable, doable. It's cognitive. It's cognitive. You think it, you perceive it, and you realize it, and you can do it. Action. So it's a cognitive thing because it's a thought with an action, or a thought with a feeling. Sorry. That's what cognitive therapy is you think about it, you talk through it, and you talk through your feelings. That's going backwards in therapy for a reason, to dig out the reasons why. Coaching is forward. Where are you now? Let's move forward. What do you want? How do you want to be? Okay, so it also incorporates, but is not. And again, here we go. Your purpose can be, when I say it, your purpose can be in your zone of genius, but it doesn't necessarily have to be your zone of genius. Okay, because you can implement your zone of genius in different things. You can have a zone of genius in different things. I mean, look at Benjamin Franklin in his writing, in his being a scientist, not a learned scientist, but one out of practice and he researched, he read, but he also wrote. He was a scientist, a politician, a diplomat, a writer, a philosopher of sorts. He was a poet, a lover. He had many girlfriends and 2 wives. So his genius was different in every area. But I contend that his genius, Ben Franklin's, was more discovery all the time. Discover, more discovery in his own thoughts, in his perceptions of race. What is race? His thought about race completely changed in his lifetime. His thought about politics, about what should be law, what should be implemented, how should we run this country? Because he was a total colonist at first. What is diplomacy? He philosophized everything, his thought work. So his zone of genius was in constantly discovering. And with discoveries, his perceptions would change. I think that was his zone of genius. And then doing something with it, discovering, like electricity, the light bulb. I know that was Edison, but you know what Ben Franklin did? The lightning, electricity. Anyway, the conduit. So when you lose yourself for hours, that's also been how zone of genius has been described. Albert Einstein, when you blog, when you're into something in math, a programmer, not just because it's their job, when they're into it, that they lose themselves for hours and feel like it's been 5 minutes. I'm looking at my clock. That's when you're in your zone of genius. When you're doing something, you're just so into it. Remember when you were a kid and you would lose track of time because you loved it so much? That's the start of that common thread. I do say there's a common thread. So in my little notes, I'm going to roll up. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 examples right now. So stick with me. I'm going to call them Jane, like Jane Doe, Jane 1, Jane 2, Jane 3. Actually, one could be a John Doe. To show you examples, and I've been given permission to, okay? And I'm also going to show you how it gives you, knowing your purpose gives you clarity in your decisions. It gives you reassurance and it gives you direction. So I'm going to talk about Jane 1. Love it. She calls herself the mental mum, M-U-M, blogger. She's been blogging and blogging, and she decided to do something with her blogging, and she's a mom. And she lives in Europe, so that's why she's a mum. And this woman blogs and posts, mental mom. Do you know your, well, I asked her, I was coaching her, something about, what's your purpose? Do you know your purpose? Yes, this is my purpose. I mean, she knew, just seeing that physical change from like she was overwhelmed, confused, but mostly overwhelmed, a little bit stressed, great attitude. So she wasn't upset, but she was, well, upset the card. Yeah. But she was just overwhelmed and not clear on what direction or what to do, because she wanted to turn this blogging into different things and into her business. But when she emphatically decided, yes, when she reached people and they related to what she blogged, she felt that thrill, that sense of not just having them have a sense of hope and belonging and relatability, but that she could help them. Because if they felt like how she felt, or they related to how she felt and she related to how they felt, that sense of connection, and that's how we found what she really wanted to do, what she wanted to do, her mission, and then her goals. But her purpose was, her life purpose was, what fulfilled her was a connection with a reason. The connection was to help other women feel, I have hope, I have help, I have someone to listen to, I have someone with which to connect and with which to share, and as a life support of sorts. When people understood her and she understood them, that was her, that's what fulfilled her. It's like, oh my God, they understand me. Oh my God, I understand them, when they would start writing back. That, she decided, was her purpose in life, to connect. That became her mission. Her purpose in life was to help, relate, and be understood, and for her to understand. Okay. So she went through that perceivable principle. She felt it. She thought it. It thrilled her. And a lot of it was going to be hard, because here comes the hard part, is the execution, the mission. So she decided, because of her purpose, to put that into her vocation and her job. Her life, and I'm going to turn, because she turned a lot in our coaching on Zoom, because her kids were always up to something. And then her little kid would come on camera. So she turned her life, her kids, raising her kids, her life purpose, to help other moms in raising their kids and living their lives and fulfill their purposes. Okay. So raising her kids in and of itself was not her purpose. It's her love. It's her job. It's one of the greatest things in life. But her purpose is, and also with her kids and how she raises them, is in connecting and having her kids be understood and know that they're understood, and for them to understand each other and to understand friends and to understand her. That is her purpose. A sense of, I have help, I have support, I'm understood. See how it's coming together? So you can insert your purpose into things. She inserts it into her relationship with her boyfriend, her fiance. Okay, so that was one Jane Doe. That was a fast one. Jane Doe 2. She is a real estate coach. Nope, scratch that. Because she thought that's what she would be. And that could have been a nice title. But when people think of real estate coach, they think of, okay, you're going to coach me in how to do the business and how to get clients and all this stuff, sales. More than just a real estate coach, she realized where her zone of genius was, and what made her fulfilled and happy and thrilled, even though it was hard work, was in the area of helping people who thought the cheapest, most inexpensive way for them to sell their home was for sale by owner. And when she showed them with an agent Specific agents, a certain type of agents with a certain integrity and a certain way of working, we can save you money, way more money. So she knows how to run her business. I'm not going to explain her business, but that thrilled her because she knew what it was like to not be able to use the protection and the savvy, the business savvy of an agent. And many of them don't have it, but many of them do. They're very talented, skilled, knowledgeable agents. And there are some that know enough. They know the real estate laws, they know the policies, they know dollar signs, whatever. But there are good ones and there are okay ones. So she wanted to connect these people for sale by owners and say, okay, here's what you can have, and here's how we can help. And you can only use a little bit of us or a lot of us, but this is what will help you. When she started showing other realtors how to do that, how to attain these clients and say, hey, I'm just grabbing your attention. If I could show you how to sell your home and save yourself from a lot of glitches and laws and whatever codes, civil codes, and save money in the end, would you be interested in me just showing you the principles? And if you want to work together after that, great. Getting their attention, because when they would call or try to email or however they would try to communicate, a lot of them, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you. You know how it is. So she wanted to be a coach in that and show them how to do it and be with them. But those are getting into goals. That was her mission. Her mission became helping agents help these for sale by owners. And these agents, not just to, okay, I'm satisfied, but really wanted to get ahead and do this, who wanted that to be their mission. So that became her mission. Her vision, well, she has a bigger life vision and her job is part of it. But her purpose was that sense of somebody didn't know this and now they know. They know the realities. We uncover, and then they have the option of using us or not, and that helps the for sale by owner, and that helps these realtors who didn't realize they can work faster and they don't have to have a million hang up calls and feel like losers. Seriously, that was her purpose, because that's what fulfilled her and thrilled her and energized her. And that was also into her zone of genius. But she was great at other things in real estate. So she is good at how to attract for sale by owner sellers, make a profit, as opposed to having them all alone. And that feeling she got, and that sparkle in her eye when she had that confidence that that was her purpose, it showed when she answered that, when we worked that out. And then we started connecting on and seeing how she could put that same feeling into her raising her daughter, into she's also engaged, into her relationship, into her fun life. What do I want in my life? Do I want to travel? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? But that's more vision. But she was starting to play this game of like, well, my purpose in having somebody realize, okay, this is the way to engage people in an honest way, but fast and direct, and let it go if they just don't. That she started seeing how she could implement in her, how she raised her child. And she was coming up with how she described how, but she did like an example. It's like, okay, honey, what if you told your friend blah blah blah, how she was raising her kid, or she would show her child a fast way of doing something or seeing something or realizing something, and my client would let it go if her child didn't get it. It's like, it's okay. She didn't get it. She might get it some other time. Maybe she does get it and she just doesn't want it. And that's fine. But she started seeing how she was implementing that sense of, yes, I can show somebody how to engage somebody else fast, communicate that message, and then help them. She was seeing and naming ways and realizing ways and possibilities of how she implements that purpose, that same sense, into other areas of her life. Okay, so let me just tell you about a Jane. I hope that makes sense. Jane Doe 3. Okay. Jane Doe 3 has Hashimoto's syndrome. That is something that's going on in your immune system, so that your glands, and I'm not going to get into all of that, is not giving the right message to your body. So she didn't know it. And she didn't realize why, no matter what she did in her diet and exercise, she kept getting bigger. And it wasn't just a thyroid thing, but it was Hashimoto's. It was her autoimmune system. And so she was feeling sorry for herself. And she felt that there's no point in eating better or eating how she's supposed to eat or trying new diets, um, diets of elimination and in exercising, because she had tried it and it just wouldn't work. But we started talking into her life purpose. Fast forward through this, because this is getting long. Fast forward through it. She realized what her life purpose was, and it was in teaching. She loved the sense and the thrill and the fulfillment when she was a kid. And she gave me examples when she was in college, when she was deciding what to do with the rest of her life when she grew up, when she was part of a girl band of sorts, when she was doing other things. She started seeing that same sense of when she would teach somebody something and they could do it. There was clarity, that light bulb. She started seeing the common thread in different areas. And you can see that, like if you're a camp counselor or you're a volunteer and you teach somebody, if that sense of fulfillment hits you rather than, okay, mission accomplished, I taught her how to tie her shoe or taught her how to do those math tables. If you don't get that sense and that thrill of fulfillment, that ain't it. It just ain't. What fulfills you? So she started seeing in the teaching and the explaining and having those light bulbs go off. And people like, oh, okay, I get it. Well, she couldn't teach if she was not at the most optimal health and confidence. She could put it aside, and say, well, I have confidence in my teaching. She wasn't in teaching when this came to her. She got into teaching through organizations, through agencies. But we figured out how her purpose was her touchstone and her driving force. It really was her motivation. Her actions were her motivation, but it was her inspiration, because she's like, I can't teach. I can't be at my best if I can't learn and teach myself how to be as best as I can be. So we got her into getting a little bit more into exercise and not giving up, not with the goal of losing weight or looking better, but to being better. And by the way, she did start losing weight and she did start feeling better. And more importantly, she became strong and it helped her immune system. And she started eating, trying different ways of eating, and she did feel better and it did help her autoimmune system. Okay. And I'm not going to explain what Hashimoto's is, but it's really where you're getting the wrong message, but there's a reason for it. So she put her purpose into her health and fitness, and her health and fitness into her purpose, her teaching, because her health and fitness, her eating and her working out supported her purpose, her fulfilling her purpose. And she even thought of talking about teaching in support groups about Hashimoto's syndrome. But anyway, so all three felt it emotionally, thrilled, fulfilled, and made it into and put their zone of genius into their purpose. They felt their purpose. And it was through coaching, but it was there all along. They saw the common thread. And it gave her direction. It gave her reassurance that she was doing the right thing for the right reason. And so she wasn't wallowing in her self-pity anymore, as she called it. So again, the cognitive principles in all of them, I'm going to wrap this up, is that thrill or that energy or whatever lights you up, whatever sets you on fire when you're doing it. Just like when you were a kid and you were doing it. I'm going to give you one more, and then I'll tell you about me tomorrow. A gentleman, he gave me this example. He was not a client of mine, but he gave me this example because we were talking about it. He used to love playing video games as a kid. A lot of kids do. But he said he would spend more hours on that than on homework. He was a smart kid, but he finally gave up games after being nagged into it and finally just had other things to do. But he realized later on, but not too much later in life, that what he liked about the video games was not the actual physical playing it. It was fun, but he loved getting better. He loved the self-improvement. He was his own competition. And it wasn't like getting the better score. It's like, why? How did he get that better score? He loved figuring out how he became better, not just getting better and blindly not really knowing it because it was practice. It's how. He figured out how he improved and how he could help others improve. And maybe they didn't get it, but he knew how he improved. So self-improvement. And so it wasn't the games themselves, but being good and being better, but not just being better. It's what thrilled him about it is when he figured out, was it his hand? Was it his seeing something? Was it his timing? How he got better. He thrived on getting quicker. I remember him telling me that. I took a note. He got quicker, figuring out the system of each particular game and the tactics. Okay. Then later on, he started writing just because he liked it. He got more into school, started writing, but then he started writing and self-publishing. And this is at the beginning of self-publishing when people didn't take it seriously. They're like, oh, if you don't have a publisher, forget it. He self-published. He liked it. But it wasn't like for the ego, like, oh, this is self-published, have my ebook. It was he got better and better at it. Well, how do I get better? And what do I consider better? Why are more people reading this one than that one? Not because of my name, but what's making it better or more readable or more enjoyable for me? He realized it wasn't what he was writing or that it sold. He couldn't have cared less at the time that it sold. It's how do I make this better? Not that when it was supposedly better, because writing is subjective, it's how do I become better? And then when he realized this is better, in my opinion, how did I get there? Self-improvement, just like the video games. So he loved figuring out how to improve his writing, how to improve his choice of topics, how to improve how he published and marketed it, how to improve it, the mechanics of it. He transferred this thrill of knowing how to improve in his video games, this thrill and knowledge and passion he got from getting better into writing. And then eventually what he does now, he speaks on and writes about self-improvement. Self-improvement. And all this came in a great time because, well, ever since Tony Robbins, 20, 30 years ago, but people are into self-improvement. He told me, these are the latest stats, that people who buy, and this is from sales on I almost said Kindle. Yeah, Kindle, Amazon. So online sales and at bookstores, the tangibles. Most people that buy one self-help book, will stop there or buy 7 or 8 a year. So people are hooked on self-help and self-improvement, but are they really improving if they keep buying it? So that was the topic of our talk. So I just thought it was interesting. But he wanted to know how to get better at conveying messages of self-improvement and personal development. And now that's what he's doing. And he loves it. And he has that same fulfillment as when he was a kid playing the video games and seeing, how am I going to improve this? As when he got into writing, and he didn't become what he studied to do when he got his degree in college either. And he didn't even finish college. But he feels that common thread, those cognitive principles, how to level up, how to improve, how to discover it, how to stick with it, etc. So again, what is cognitive? It is tangible. It is tenable. It is recognizable. It is discernible. It is corporeal. It is somatic, bodily. So I say it's perceivable. You can perceive it emotionally and physically in your thoughts. So I can help you with an objective ear, completely objective ear, because how are you going to be objective with yourself? We can try, but your common thread. I can help you with an objective ear, figure out what your common thread is. And believe me, there is one. And the cognitive principles in your life's endeavors, and we can streamline it. So that perceivable principle can apply. And I'll give you an example tomorrow, a great example of someone who just thought there's no way, there's no common thread, complete cynic, because everything I've done is different from the other thing. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of how there was something that it just didn't seem like there would be a common thread. You just change your mind about what you do and pivot. It became the word of the year in 2020, and how there really was a common thread. Not that you forced it, but it was found. Okay. So in my coaching, we differentiate between your vision, your mission, and your goals and your life purpose, your constant purpose. We find that common thread in the things in your life that reveal your purpose, the perceivable principle behind all the activities that you do, what fills you up, what lights you on fire physically and emotionally, that which delights you. I like that. I took a little note that delights you, inspires you, wows you yourself, and it moves you. It grips you. It hooks you. It won't let go of that heel. It's like a little dog biting at your heel. Your fulfillment, you're confident, meaning you're confident that that fulfills you, that confident fulfillment. And in the coaching, not just that, we execute. So in my coaching, we identify your life purpose. We identify your purpose for each goal, for your challenge, for your issues. We identify, we optimize your strength, who you are now, the beautiful, wonderful, very complicated person you are, because we're what was the word that I used to love? Anyway, you're a very complicated person. This human machine is complicated and wonderful. So we identify, we optimize your strengths, and we execute. Identify, optimize, execute. That's what we do in all areas of your life. And for this, we're going to keep on the theme of in your career. How do you position yourself in your career? How do you insert your purpose in your career, even if your career, your job are not your purpose? Or how do you get a job, get a career, build your career as your purpose? Because it can be. Okay. All right. So I'll post about that other person, the cynic. I'll hit back on the misconceptions that I talked about on Tuesday, what they're not. And again, more about the perceivable perception. All right. Thank you so much. I know this was long, and please just watch it again. Replay. Tomorrow will be very short. Maybe it'll just be a post or blog. Ciao. And thank you so much. I'm Ronnie Lowe, Life Coach. Yay.